Sue Malden is the chair of Focal International. Sue, how would you summarise the views on semantic tagging that you've come across?
Well, it's very difficult to do that. I think maybe I can talk more from a personal point of view, but obviously I'm quite heavily involved in the audiovisual archive commercial business. And I would suspect many of the people at the front end of selling and creating the business of selling clips and licensing clips know very little about semantic tagging at all.
So, how is industry incorporating the various ideas?
Well, they could be incorporating it, but they don't know. And maybe the guys, the technical boffins in their, back rooms are doing that kind of thing for them. But I suspect it's not actually like that. I think a lot of the commercial libraries are still run on very traditional models. They catalogue their data, they create their databases and put them online, and they invite the potential customers to search for content and then order online what they want, and if they can, they're also doing the licensing online, but that's the next stage, because quite often the nature of the rights that the customer wants are quite complicated, so it's difficult to automate. But I don't really think anybody's that aware of semantic tagging going on in the background. They're probably still much more traditional content management systems with search engines and working that way. One of the great benefits I've been told of semantic tagging is that you can start searching across much larger databases and piles of content, but many of the operators in the commercial world are competitors, and they don't necessarily see any great advantage to them as individuals if all their databases can be searched at the same time. There's whole issues if we were to offer that kind of service to them, of how do you rank the answers and so on. So the idea of being able to search more content in that kind of way is coming at it very much from the lay person's perspective, who is not likely to want to spend a reasonable amount of money acquiring and licensing the use of the content on a commercial basis. And therefore I think a lot of the commercial libraries don't really see it as a great opportunity.
So, what do you think what sort of impacts are going to delight and surprise them?
Well, I think we saw from Getty today this service they've just launched of embedding or allowing non-commercial members to embed their content in anything new they create. It's a very interesting idea, and it's breaking away from the traditional library supply of footage business of licensing a clip for whatever rights the punter wants. The more that kind of material becomes accessible and is searchable, the less likelihood there are of people going back to the rights holder and offering to pay them the kind of money that they currently would expect them to pay. So I think Getty perhaps are leading the field with this sort of development. So the traditional business models are really going to change radically in the coming year or so. And many of the archives are going to have to work out ways of responding. How do they deal with this increased demand from many, but at very low payments?
And how do you think it will affect wider society? How will we notice it?
I'm not sure. I think we're all going to get bogged down with loads of video and images all over the place and not really value them very much. There was a statistic we heard today that 60% of video content is online. I'm not sure how accurate that is, but I think there are many archives around the world that have huge amounts of film, video, still photographs that are not digitized and not online, and therefore this really valuable national and international heritage is likely to suffer because it's not there. And so the general public will not be able to have access to that because it's not digitized, it's not accessible. So we could end up losing a whole load of historically important and significant stuff that cannot be repeated for the sake of a load of much more ephemeral, and by load I mean loads of, that sort of makes searching so difficult, of fairly ephemeral material. So possibly not a good thing.
Sue, thank you very much.
It's all right.